South Korea has ushered in its autumn season, and the fall foliage marks the start of seasonal festivities nationwide that extend well into the colder months of the winter. So what are some popular autumn events? Which areas boast some of the best seasonal scenes? And where do we go to indulge in winter festivities? Welcome to Issues and Insiders. In this edition, we turn to leisure activities here on the local front to better enjoy the changes in seasons. For more on this, I have Kwon Soa here in the studio. Soa, it's good to have you back.
Hello, Sunny.
I also have Andres Sanchez Braun here. Andres, welcome.
Always a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
Right. So we'll start with you then. Let's begin with a few words on the Jinju Namgang Yudeung Lantern Festival, which I believe runs until the end of this particular month, right?
Right. So I will have to start with a little bit of history here. The Jinju Namgang Yudeung Festival is one of the oldest festivals in South Korea, and it's actually said to be the first 야간 축제 or night festival. As the name suggests, it's a lantern festival, but it's lanterns floating on the water because Yudeung stands for that, and it's obviously held in Jinju, more specifically in areas of Namgang and Jinju Fortress. And Jinju is a city that's roughly 430 kilometers southeast of Seoul. So as I said, this festival runs until the end of this month. It's kicked off on October 10th. And the history part that I wanted to mention is the origin of the festival dates back to October 1952 during the so-called Jinju Fortress Battle of the Imjin War. So floating lanterns were used as a strategy so that Japanese military cannot cross the river. And lanterns were also used for communication for the soldiers with families. In this case, it was lanterns that were flown into the air, so-called sky lanterns. So what you can see now if you visit the festival is some 70,000 beautiful lanterns displayed, and they are made by local students there. Also fireworks, a water light show, street parades, and also do-it-yourself lantern programs. And what gives the festival a modern twist is even now drone shows and also media art shows are part of this festival. And the festival has a wide reputation as an honorary Korean representative festival, and most recently it also was elected as a 2022 World Festival City by the International Festivals and Events Association. And given all of these designations, this festival is even exported to other festivals abroad, just like Canada, the US, and even China.
Right, I see. That's good to know. A place to go this autumn then. And Andres, a rather popular activity here in this part of the world during the autumn is hiking to better indulge in the colors of the season, if I may. Now, some say the best places to go are the national parks here. What more can you tell us?
Well, as you just mentioned, I think Korea and hiking are two concepts that can't be separated from each other, and especially in the autumn. And yes, national parks are definitely probably the best places to enjoy the autumn foliage. To bear in mind, let's remember that, for example, national parks like Odaesang or Seoraksan in Gangwon-do they've already started changing colors, shifting into these beautiful shades of red, orange, yellow, because they are in the coldest part of the northern strip of the country, whereas like parks like Pukhansan here in Seoul, or Jirisan between Gyeongsang and the Jolas, or Halasan in Jeju, will actually start changing colors around the next week, up until late October, even maybe early November. To bear in mind as well, this year actually the government has implemented a system, a reservation system. So if anyone is planning to hike on especially the major trails of these national parks, please remember that there's a reservation system now in place. So you should actually book a time entry. This has been implemented to avoid congestion and, of course, the spread of COVID. And also, if you're not able to travel to all these beautiful national parks, remember that Korea is a very mountainous country, and there's always some sort of low hill or tiny mountain around your neighborhood where you can just take a quick 10-15 minute hike to the top and enjoy the beautiful colors of the autumn.
I know, like the area around here in Arirang TV is also quite beautiful.
Exactly.
Right, now so beyond autumn, Korea's winter festivals, that is, are also quite enticing. And that being said, let's talk about one which involves trouts, as in the fish.
Right. So as you can enjoy 4 distinct seasons in Korea, Korea also has a lot of winter festivals to offer. And as you said, among which those involving fish are also a very big hit every year. They usually start in late December or January and then go through February because that's the coldest season and also when the ice condition is the best. And one famous one is in Pyeongchang, the Pyeongchang Trout Festival in Gangwon-do Province, the city which is well known for the 2018 Winter Olympics, but also it's famous for its trouts because around 30% of trout in Korea comes from Pyeongchang, and Pyeongchang is also where trout farming first began here in the country. Then we've also got the Gapyeong Singshing Songeo Chukje or Singshing Trout Festival, also in Gangwon-do Province, and the Hwacheon Sancheoneo Chukje. And Sancheoneo is another type of trout. It translates into mountain trout. Also, the Paju Songeo Chukje, the Songeo Festival, is famous. That's in Gyeonggi-do Province, and all of these involve usually ice fishing, but also what's popular is barehanded fishing. I never tried that before, but yes, it is also very famous. And bobsleigh riding, ice skating, all kinds of winter activities you can do there. And you might also wonder what you do after catching the fish. You can eat those raw or grilled or fried at the spot because they serve it there. So yeah, and speaking of eating those fish, trout is also very good for your health. They say that it's a great source of protein and a type of fish with one of the most abundant omega-3 fatty acids and also other nutrients and vitamins.
Right, good to know. Do you know if they teach you how to fish with your bare hands at these festivals?
I'm not sure.
Right, I was wondering if they did. I would love to go actually, right?
I hope you'll find out someday.
Right. Andres, now aside from like hiking and so forth, Soa mentioned some winter activities, and skiing is also quite popular here in the country. And it also serves to attract quite a number of visitors from neighboring countries. Now, that being said, have you ventured onto the local slopes? And can you tell us about your experience?
Well, unfortunately, I gotta say that I haven't been able to ski for the past 2 decades or so because of really bad ankle injuries and bad knee conditions. So it's actually doctors that have prevented me from skiing again. But that said, I was lucky enough to cover the Pyeongchang 2018 Olympics on site. And I was able to, attend all these places: Alpensia, Yeongpyeong, Jeongseong, Phoenix Snow Park. And I got to say, they all looked fantastic. The slopes looked really, really great, very convenient. And also, I've been told by my friends who actually are lucky enough that they can still ski, they've told me that most of these places are really close by, and how convenient it is to actually just stay in one resort and actually just take a short drive and actually enjoy skiing in a different resort, and you can just move around the area. And also the fact that day passes in Korea seem to be quite competitive when it comes to price tags. So all in all, I would say that if you're thinking on coming to Korea and enjoy some skiing, it's definitely worth the trip.
Right, I see. Now, so aside from hiking, fishing and skiing, for those here in the metropolitan area, I believe there is a place that offers the chance to take a leisurely stroll in the midst of some amazing light displays. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so for people who may not be into all that action, just strolling around a place where you'll be surrounded by beautiful lightings may be a better option. So in Gapyeong, Gyeonggi-do Province, which is around 40 kilometers northeast of Seoul, you can enjoy the Garden of the Morning Calm Lighting Festival. And sounds very extravagant, right? And it is actually. It's already really eye-catching just by looking at the pictures of past events and also the poster. And it really made me want to visit that place just by looking at it. And it's actually said to be the first lighting festival in the country that combines natural surroundings with LED lights. And the dazzling lights are also said to be environment friendly. So what happens is once the sun sets, you'll get to see thousands of plants and lightings. And if you're lucky and it had snowed, then you'll find yourself in winter wonderland.
Right, I see. Right. Now, Andres, personally then, having listened to what Soa has also just told us, where would you take a friend who decides to visit you from abroad here in South Korea to offer him or her a better glimpse of the country this time of the year?
Well, for example, one place that I love, and I think I would take this person, would be hiking in Soraksan National Park in Gangwon-do, because I really love, aside from the colors, I love how clean and crisp the air is at this time of the year there. And for example, when you do one of the easier hikes, if you climb up to, let's say, for example, Ulsan Bawi, and then you have, if you look westwards, you'll have all this beautiful view of all the changing colors of the autumn. And if you look eastwards, you'll actually be able to see the East Sea. A beautiful view. And then the best thing is that you're probably just a 20-minute car ride from Sokcho, where you can just enjoy some nice seafood dinner and then maybe take a stroll in the beach. Another place I can think of, for example, is Nami Island, also in Gangwon-do, close to the capital, to Jinju. It's a beautiful place full of maple trees, which are famous for their reddish colors during fall. And then it's also a very flat island. So if you're not into hiking, I might suggest this is a perfect place for you to walk on a nice flat surface and enjoy autumn colors. And then another place that comes to mind is actually, now that it's open to the general public, is actually the Blue House complex. Because I remember actually when the King and Queen of Spain visited in 2019, they did so on this time of the year. And I remember how spectacular everything looked with, the royal guard and the reception and the absolutely beautiful colors of the trees in the complex. So that's definitely a must, I think.
Right, that's definitely a place I'd like to go to as well. So moving forward, perhaps one very popular winter event among Koreans is the Homigot Sunrise Festival. Could you tell us about that?
Right, that would be one of the final events of the year, or rather the first one of the new year for many people. It starts on December 31st and then goes through January 1st because it is about the first sunrise of the year. So why is the Homigot Sunrise Festival one of the most representative festivals? Because it's the place where you can see the sunrise for the first time in South Korea. And 2023, that would be 6:28 a.m. And this one is located in the southeastern port city of Pohang, and it's referred to as the tail of the tiger, as it is the easternmost end of the Korean peninsula. So the festival started almost 23 years ago. So when would that be? Year 2000. It's because they started with the celebration of the millennium. So that's when this festival started. And even if you have not been there in person, I don't know, have you guys been there?
No, I actually haven't. Have you been there, Andres?
I haven't been lucky.
Me neither. But you probably saw those hands, one in the water and one in the land. Those are sculptures that are standing there and are very symbolic. In Korean, it's called 상생의 손, and 상생 means coexistence or coexisting in harmony. So you'll find that symbol there, and you've got tens of thousands of people flocking to that festival every year.
Right, and talking about symbols, Andres, have you partaken in any symbolic event of ushering in the new year while you were here in South Korea?
Well, I mean, I've eaten tteokguk for New Year's. I've seen the first sunrise of the year, although I've done it from my rooftop, not from the easternmost part of the peninsula. I've even attended the Boshingak bell tolling, which I said, I actually, it was very cold, I gotta say. But our traditions in Spain are a little different, I gotta say. We also toll bells. And our countdown is a little special because, most countries tend to do like a backwards countdown, like 10, 9. We actually either attend a town square or tune in the TV where, they're broadcasting live from these town squares where there's a clock tower. So what we do in Spain is actually when the clock tower starts ringing, with every ring, we actually eat a grape. And we count like 1, 2, 3 and up to 12. So basically, the lucky way to start the year is to eat these 12 green grapes with every brealtol. It's a tradition that comes back from the 19th century, where I think farmers were facing an overstock of grapes and decided to market them, for the New Year's this way. But I guess it was popular enough because everybody does it nowadays.
Right, that is good to know. All right, thank you for sharing, Andres. Thank you very much for your words today. And so, as always, thank you for your input.
My pleasure.
Right, well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Issues and Insiders. Thank you for watching.